now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We gotta add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekly morning show where we bring you the latest in everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the breakout that's taking place on Bitcoin. As you know, Bitcoin broke all the way up to nearly $31,000 just a few days ago, back on Friday of last week, and now Bitcoin is looking to break above the resistance level that was set on that day, around 31K. Bitcoin right now is sitting at $30,823. And so today we're going to be talking about where Bitcoin has come and where Bitcoin is going, and why Bitcoin's breakout yesterday from its triangle pattern that we discussed on Coffee and Crypto yesterday is very, very significant. Very excited to bring you guys today's show. Let's go ahead and read some chat to get started, and then we'll jump right on in to CoinMarketCap and doing a price recap. Daniel J in chat said, good morning, good to see you, my friend. Philly Skills 1428 in chat said, hola, my friend. Sean O'Brien in chat, Michael Parsons, oh my, Crypto and Cowboy, Joe Bollier, Buck Slayer, I'm my hero, Mark Schneider, Dutch XRP, Win Peoples, Mario De Leon, Victor Delgado, Eric Ward, CBD Study DB, and Ruben Castro. Shout out to everybody in chat. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Today we're going to go ahead and talk about Bitcoin, so let's go ahead and jump straight on over to the charts. Give me 1 second here to fix something so that we can see this the way that we want to. All right, good deal. Looking over here at Bitcoin, we can see that Bitcoin is currently trading at $30,817. It is up 1.25% over the last 24 hours and up 15.36% over the last 7 days. I think it is important to note that it's not just Bitcoin that has been doing pretty well over the last 7 days. We've also seen Ethereum rally by 10%. We've seen Cardano rally by 12%. We've seen Tron rally by 9%. And we've seen Solana even rally by 6%. Polkadot's up 17%. So too is Litecoin, and Polygon is up 12.87%. All of this to say that the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market has gone through a major rebound, but depending on the cryptocurrency that we're discussing, some have rebounded more than others. Of course, keep in mind that Bitcoin has rebounded far above the initial price that it was trading at during the attack against Bitcoin that the SEC launched on Monday, June the 5th. Earlier this month, Bitcoin was trading at $27,000 at that point. Now we are up 13.66% from SEC day instead of VE day, you might say, or D day. Ever since SEC day, we have seen Bitcoin rally by nearly $4,000, which is very, very encouraging. However, the same cannot be said for the rest of the cryptocurrencies. Whereas Bitcoin has performed very, very well, Ethereum is sitting right around the exact same level that it was before the SEC's attack, which indicates that that Ethereum actually kind of came out scot-free. There was a bit of a balancing act there where you saw the Ethereum was dragged down because the rest of the altcoin market was dragged down, the rest of the crypto market in general was dragged down, and also considering that Ethereum is a cryptocurrency asset that Gary Gensler has hinted at before, he may deem a security by saying that everything but Bitcoin is a security. Before he had said everything but Bitcoin and Ethereum are securities, he did eventually come out and say everything but Bitcoin, he thinks, classify as securities. But on the flip side, Ethereum did relatively well compared to the rest of the altcoins because it was not listed as a security in the way that pretty much every single other altcoin in the top 50 that is really relevant was. Because if we look at Cardano, for example, it's rallied quite substantially over the last week, up 12%. But ever since the major attack from the SEC on Coinbase, Changpeng Zhao, and Binance, we have seen that market still be down 25%. And the same thing is true for all of the other assets. If we look at BNB especially, of course, it was one of the coins listed in the lawsuit. The founder of the company it's named after had a lawsuit filed against him, and the company that built it had a lawsuit filed against it. So BNB got the triple whammy. The founder, the exchange it gets its name from, and it itself all had were all implicated in a single complaint from the SEC. As such, Binance is still down 21%. Looking over here at Link, for example. Link is one of the few that has actually done relatively well considering the fact that there's been so much carnage in crypto. It's only down 4% since that fateful day. Hasn't recovered all of its gains. But today I want to talk a little bit about why Bitcoin is at a critical juncture in price. And what I mean by that is that Bitcoin is very close to kind of setting the tone for what the next couple of months are going to look like. You see, Bitcoin's massive rally right now indicates that the bulls obviously had a lot of strength built up that they had not used. This was a surprise attack from the bulls, and it kind of came out of nowhere, and it was really started by the SEC's lawsuit, which drove quite a bit of market dominance towards Bitcoin, but it was also driven by BlackRock. Let's break those down one at a time. We'll do it relatively quickly because we've already spoken on these, but I want to give you an update. Looking over at CoinMarketCap, we can see that Bitcoin's dominance on CoinMarketCap itself has finally surpassed 50%. You can see that there are 2 times where Bitcoin's market dominance has gone on a massive run. The first time here between May 12th, 2018 and September 21st of 2019, May 12th of 2018 to September of 2019, we saw 2 major legs of this run. This corresponded with the beginning of the last bull market. Bitcoin gained substantial market dominance against the altcoins, bringing back valuation into the fold of Bitcoin's value, such that Bitcoin would be the one to lead that bull market. Eventually, as the bull market plateaued and Bitcoin had hit $65,000, Bitcoin's market dominance dropped sharply. And we, of course, had the massive altcoin season that led to the NFT craze and DEXs and all of the development that we saw during the latter part of 2021. Now what we're seeing is a similar buildup here, starting just after the FTX meltdown in November 8th of last year. We've seen Bitcoin's market dominance rally from 38.16% all the way up to 50.14 as of recently. We've seen it has gone to a high, Bitcoin's market dominance has gone to a high of 50.24%, meaning that over half, currently because it's at 50.2, over half of the valuation in cryptocurrency is sitting in Bitcoin, even on CoinMarketCap, despite the fact that CoinMarketCap lists 26,018 cryptocurrencies. There have been a huge number of cryptocurrencies listed on CoinMarketCap. Most exchanges and technical services that list Bitcoin's market dominance only include maybe about 1,000 cryptos, so naturally Bitcoin's market dominance is a little bit higher because there's less competition in those lists. CoinMarketCap, as far as to my knowledge anyway, has the most comprehensive list of every single cryptocurrency ever created. So it's going to give the most accurate and the lowest number for Bitcoin's market dominance. Wherever else you see it is going to be higher than 50.2% right now. That is an extremely bullish sign because it shows us that Bitcoin is gaining dominance in a way that is conducive to the beginning of a bull market. You see, the reason that happens is because Bitcoin has this kind of tsunami effect whenever it begins a bull market. It sucks all the life, all the oxygen out of the air, and then in one felt swoop, it inundates the coast. In the same way a tsunami will pull water out hundreds of feet from the shore and the sea levels may drop by up to 10 feet, all of that water gets sucked into one giant tsunami and then, boom, crashes on the shore and does devastation to the coastline. And that's similar to what happens in Bitcoin. Bitcoin, when it's starting a bull market, as we learned during the last bull market, it sucks the air out of the room. It sucks the water off the coast into its own tsunami, and it builds into this massive flood and just completely inundates Wall Street and just completely inundates YouTube and TikTok, and everybody's hearing about it all at once. It goes on a massive run. And that's what we're expecting to happen right now. It's similar to Viva Fire. The school I went to had a fire academy, and there was a burn building that the fire and EMS students would work in. And one of the things you have to be very careful of, and forgive me, I don't know all the technicals. I'm not a firefighter. But I can explain this to the best of my ability. When you're fighting a fire, it's very dangerous if there's no airflow into the building, because if there's no windows broken, if all the doors are closed, and there's no way for oxygen to get in that building, but there is a fire, if you break a window or if you open the door, then the whole thing will blow up. It will literally explode because of the rush of air. Because when the fire is burning inside of basically a vacuum, like a house, not a total vacuum, but close enough for what we're talking about, then it will take up all of the oxygen and it will be extremely hot, and there will be embers. There probably won't be massive flames, but there will be embers, and it's hot enough that if you put oxygen on it, it's going to explode. And so if you break a window or if you open the door and you're not careful, there's a word for it. I don't remember what it is. Anyone in chat can feel free to fill me in. But if you open the door and let oxygen flow in, well, the fire had created a vacuum. If you've ever done one of those science experiments as a kid, people do it in like balloons. They'll set fire to something and it sucks the oxygen out of the air, because the air is about 25% oxygen, and it'll lower the air pressure by a quarter. So it creates a vacuum effect. And if you open the door, then whoosh, it just shoots in tons and tons and tons of oxygen, because there's that air pressure differential. All of that oxygen comes in, fuels the fire, and there's an explosion. The reason I tell you that is because, number one, if you ever have a fire and it's in a closed building, call a firefighter and let them deal with it, because they know how to stop that explosion from happening and be safe. But number two, the real reason I bring that up is because it's similar in Bitcoin. Bitcoin sucks all of the oxygen out of the room, the oxygen or the altcoins, and into its fire, and then normally something happens. Don't know what it is. It can be last bull market, it was Michael Saylor getting a bunch of executives in a room and talking to them about Bitcoin. It was Tesla adopting Bitcoin, at least for a time, and buying $1.5 billion worth of it. Those were those kind of opening the door events, the tsunami hitting land events, where just boom, all hell breaks loose. And that's what I think we're starting to see. We're starting to see the air pressure and the oxygen content in the room drop. We're starting to see the waves drop. We're starting to see the sea levels drop. We're starting to see that tsunami build. We're starting to see that dangerous situation in a burning building build, where Bitcoin is building up its potential energy for a massive rally. And the way that it's showing that is through sucking the life out of the altcoins. And so when we see Bitcoin's market dominance at 50.2%, the highest that has been in over 2 years, if my memory serves correctly, I believe it's been well over 2 years actually. It's been about 26 months since we've seen a market dominance at 50%, and that was when it was on its way down. It's been about 2 years since we saw these levels. With it creeping up, that is an early warning sign that we're getting into something big. And so that's where our discussion today comes in. I believe Bitcoin is at a major juncture in price, and the reason for that, quite simply, is because Bitcoin has seemingly begun something that may not yet be able to be stopped that easily. You see, this rally is a little bit different than many of the other rallies, partially because of what caused it, partially because of the canvas that it was painted upon. Let me explain those one at a time. Number one, what caused it? Number two, the canvas that it was painted on. Number one, the reason that this rally was caused was, number one, Bitcoin had gone through plenty of correction. It had dropped 20%. It had dropped for nearly 3 months. Bitcoin had gone through quite a lot of dropping. It had reset its price. It had consolidated. It had locked in gains. The bulls had decided, all right, if it goes below 25, we're going to buy it. And Bitcoin's bulls proved that, because they did, and Bitcoin didn't drop below 25. The reason that this rally was caused was because, number one, it had a solid foundation of concrete bedrock price action around $25,000 that was stronger than many of us, including myself, had anticipated. And number two, because out of nowhere, the SEC attacked and just poured like flame retardant foam on the fire of the altcoins. The altcoins just got extinguished, just boom, just gone. And they're not dead. I'm just saying any exuberance that was in them is gone. Any FOMO that was in the altcoins that were listed in those complaints is gone. It's going to have to rebuild itself, and I believe it will. But for the time being, any progress of enthusiasm, of market sentiment, investor sentiment that was being built was extinguished. And so all of that enthusiasm didn't just disappear. Law of conservation of energy kind of applies in finance as well. It just went to Bitcoin. And so that added fuel to the fire of Bitcoin. And then third, we saw BlackRock come in and put their foot down and say, hey, we're doing an ETF in Bitcoin. We've been investing in Bitcoin through the CME futures for a few years. Now we're going to get into Bitcoin in a real way by getting our own ETF, so that we can have some control of the market, so that we can build our own products, so that we can really get a lot of our clients into Bitcoin in a big, big way. There's trillions of dollars that can flow into Bitcoin through an ETF. And so BlackRock making that move was kind of the beginning of something major. The SEC is not going to take back these complaints. This is going to have a dampening effect on the altcoins for probably a year, if not more. And so that might mean that there are great times to buy. There might be great times to accumulate. They might drop much lower than they otherwise would because of the SEC lawsuit, so that the next rally will be higher percentage-wise, but they're going to drop more than likely and be suppressed. That value is going to flow into Bitcoin, and then also that value flowing into Bitcoin only illuminated BlackRock's decision to build an ETF. So when BlackRock goes and pitches this ETF to investors, they can say, look, the SEC SEC came after everything but Bitcoin because Gary Gensler, the guy that just despises altcoins himself, said that he believes that Bitcoin is not a security, it's a commodity. So our ETF is a good investment. So buy it now because we're BlackRock and we've got $10 trillion on management. So you should listen to what we say. All of those three factors, Bitcoin had a healthy correction, SEC attacked the altcoins, and the interest and the enthusiasm went into Bitcoin, and then also the BlackRock story coming into the space was all just wonderful, wonderful timing. When we had this massive correction, that's as if Bitcoin skyscraper was engineered very, very well. It was created very well, slowly, methodically, and time was put into it. When the SEC attacked the altcoins, unfortunately, this is a little bit of like a cannibalistic move. It wasn't Bitcoin's fault, it was the SEC's fault, but the height of the towers around Bitcoin all got chopped down and put on Bitcoin's tower, so Bitcoin got taller. And then BlackRock came in and said, you know what? We're just going to build your foundation 10 stories higher and increase the whole thing. So Bitcoin just got a lot bigger in a lot of ways. And so I think the perspective there is important. I think that BlackRock and SEC getting into Bitcoin, into crypto the way that they did, BlackRock into Bitcoin, SEC attacking the altcoins, has led to this effect where I don't know that Bitcoin is able to really be stopped in the sense that I think there's quite a lot of investor enthusiasm that's going to come into the space relatively quickly. And the reason for that, quite simply, is because the altcoins look less appealing and Bitcoin looks more appealing. It's very simple. Very, very simple. For example, if you put a drawing, like let's say I draw something, and you put it next to one of Bob Ross's paintings, right? You're going to think, man, that's terrible. No, you know what? That's just awful. But then you put a drawing that I made when I was 2, and it's just a stick figure next to a drawing today, and comparatively, it's going to look a lot better. So Bitcoin was being compared to the altcoins in the news. Now the altcoins are being pushed down. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just talking reality here. And now Bitcoin's being put against BlackRock. And so everybody's saying, oh man, look, it's doing great. It's against BlackRock. It's got that backdrop of BlackRock. So number one, why did the rally happen? Those are the reasons. Number two, what is this rally going to end up looking like, and why is this juncture so important? Well, I think that this price action is going to be very difficult to stop because the SEC's lawsuit and its effects on suppressing the altcoin, sending value into Bitcoin, is not going to go away anytime soon. That is only going to continue to compound and probably get more severe over the next year at least, while these events start to go through the courts. And then number two, with BlackRock getting into it, that's of course going to bring quite a lot of investor sentiment into the space that is bullish. I do believe BlackRock will have their ETF approved. And we're starting to see that play out down here on the hourly chart. If you remember, we had this symmetrical triangle pattern drawn yesterday. I believe we had it either drawn like this or like this. I think we had it yesterday. Here we go. Yes. So as you can see, we had this triangle pattern drawn yesterday. We drew this triangle pattern right here. Bitcoin was in this little drop. And I told you guys to be very careful and have very conservative stop losses and then try out these two trades. Let's just see how it went. Now remember, technical analysis is not the art of predicting exactly where the market's going to go with 100% accuracy. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't have a DeLorean. We don't have a magical hot tub. What we do have is we have technical analysis, and we can ascertain how is Bitcoin likely to move, and if it moves that way, how do we prepare for it? When we looked at the fact that Bitcoin was probably going to kind of trade sideways but have a pretty big breakout in the next 24 hours, I said that it's likely that a $500 to $1,000 movement is going to happen in the next 24 hours on Bitcoin. Bitcoin ended up moving about $700 about 16 hours after I said that. From that point, Bitcoin actually activated both of our trades. So let's see how they activated. We had just a kind of general, I didn't give you exact numbers. I was trying to give you the idea, but I gave you kind of a general short trade here. As you can see, you would have, if you entered this short trade, you probably would have entered this short trade pretty far on the bottom. What I will say is that I would understand if you entered this short trade, because if you look at the market from this lens right here, you had quite a lot of red volume. I believe on the hourly chart, you also would have had a sell signal on Lux Algo that's confirmed. Sell signal on Lux Algo. It looks kind of like a stupid trade if you look back on it with hindsight, but the benefit of hindsight should not be disregarded. With the benefit of hindsight, yeah, duh, you shouldn't have entered this short trade because you know what happened in the future. But remember, we don't have a time machine. At the time, it definitely would have made sense to consider entering a trade. But remember what I told you yesterday. If you enter this short trade, I wanted you to use extremely tight stop losses. Remember the principle of trading that we talked about. If you're entering a trade, as you're in a little bit of profit, have a very tight stop loss. If you're in a lot of profit, have a bigger stop loss. When you enter into a trade, you want to put that stop loss as close to the entry price as possible. Because if you enter a short at $30,000 and then you close the short at $30,000, you're still going to lose the trading fee, which can be 0.05% on exchanges, which is significant if you're making multiple trades. You want to hold on to as much money as possible. So if you enter a short at $30,000, let me just show you how this would have played out yesterday. My recommendation from yesterday's stream to protect yourself against what happened, which was entering a short trade and then not getting down here to the take profit that could have happened. Especially even the take profit the Lux Algo gave you. See, the take profit on Lux Algo was down here. Lux Algo is never going to give you every single trade right, but it is going to help a lot. You want to use a very tight stop loss. If you had have entered right here, Bitcoin enter at 30,100. By the time Bitcoin dropped down to 30,050, your stop loss should have been at 30,075. Let me just say that again. You enter your short trade at 30,100. If Bitcoin drops down to 30,050, put your stop loss at 30,075. That's $25 lower. Remember, lower is profit in shorts. On that short trade, put your stop loss at 30,075 so that if you get stopped out, and it's very possible you will, that you don't lose any money and you even have just a tiny little bit of profit. Maybe it's only 0.1%, just a tiny little bit of profit to cover the trading fee that you're going to need to trade. So as you can see, this trade would not have worked out. That short trade was probably not the best short trade in the world. Of course, we didn't know that without the benefit of hindsight, but with the benefit of hindsight, we can say, all right, yeah, it didn't look like that played out too well. Now, the next order that we talked about here, and again, I wasn't giving you exact entries. If I was giving you exact entries, honestly, I probably would have put this order, this entry a little bit lower, probably like right here around 3650. Again, tight stop loss in the beginning. You can raise the stop loss as you go. So let's say you enter right here, your stop loss is right here. But if you entered right here and then the market's up here, then maybe your stop loss is right here. I'm not sure if that makes sense. I'm a very visual person, so that might help me. The bottom is the SL, top is the price of the market. If you're entering right here, your stop loss is going to be very tight. But if you entered right here and then the market went up that far, then you can afford to have a bigger stop loss. Does that make sense? Because you can absorb more of a loss, because even if you do get stopped out right here, then let's just use real numbers, you would have still made 0.2%. Doesn't sound like a lot. You're trading with $1,000. That's $20. That's good money. You can go and buy about half a drink at Starbucks with that if you are one of those people that drinks Starbucks. So, you know, make yourself some money trading and enjoy a little bit of it. But how would the trade have worked out? The trade would have worked out relatively well on this one because you would have had that very tight stop loss, would have rallied up here. You may have gotten stopped out here, but then you might have entered again after you saw this massive volume candlestick that's happening today. So how would it have worked out? By using the principles of trading and technical analysis that we discussed yesterday. Yes, you would have entered a short trade that you would have pretty much immediately gotten stopped out on, but you wouldn't have known not to do that because you didn't have the benefit of hindsight. So following the principles of trading and technical analysis, that's about the best you can do. Also, especially considering you to buy a sell signal on Lux Algo, and those are actually very reliable. Sometimes they don't come true, but normally they do. Therefore, I think that you would have done pretty well if you had followed that. So hopefully you don't just take this and say, oh, Jeb gave me a trade. I followed it. I didn't follow it. Okay, whatever. I'm going to move on. What I want you to do is I want you to move on saying, okay, I now have these principles of trading and principles of technical analysis, and they will help me in the future to generate profitable trades for myself. And I also want you to leave this video. I want you to leave this stream knowing that technical analysis is not just about creating price predictions. Technical analysis is about understanding and scientifically and artistically analyzing the way the market works. I compare it to meteorology quite often, but another example you might give is sociology, trying to understand how large groups of people think. When you're trying to understand how large groups of people think, you have to look at it as kind of an art and a science, because human beings are not as simple as the moon is 254,000 miles away from the Earth. It rotates the Earth. It goes around the Earth in 30.95 days. Whatever the number is, it's not that simple. It's not all numerical. Some of it is understanding how people think. Some of it is understanding how people tick. You have to understand. The Bible talks a whole lot about having understanding. Proverbs 18:2, for example. You guys can go read that. You know, a wise man seeks to understand, especially before he speaks. It says, James 1:19, be slow to hear, slow to speak, be slow to wrath and quick to listen. That's essentially the message of that verse. So if you are in technical analysis, our job as a meteorologist, as a scientist, as an artist that's studying other people's art, as a sociologist, whatever it is, your job is to first and foremost understand how the market works and then apply that understanding to action steps. What are the action steps? Well, that's normally where the principles of trading come in. The principles of technical analysis are designed to teach you how the market works and to understand how the market works, the principles of trading and the principles of investment more so give you the actual action steps. And so that's why while we're teaching you financial sovereignty, we also want to teach you the principles of trading, technical analysis, and investment. And that's something that we're trying to build as best we can to teach you guys all of those principles, because it is my desire for you to become profitable in cryptocurrency, but also profitable in your life and achieve what we call financial sovereignty. Bitcoin is at a critical juncture in price, and get this, so are you in your life. Bitcoin has a decision to make. Is it going to move forward with the bulls, or is it going to capitulate to the bears? I think Bitcoin has a lot going for it right now in the bulls. And there have been times in my life where I had a lot going for me, and I kind of squandered it. The question right now is Bitcoin going to take this great opportunity that it has and use it for good, for a bullish movement, or is it going to, and not so much to equivocate bullishness with good and bearishness with bad, but is it going to use it for bullishness, or is it going to squander the opportunity and use it for bearishness and go against what the bulls are able to give it? Or not. We'll discuss that. Again, like I said, there are times in plenty of people's lives, everybody's life, my life included, where we're given a great opportunity and the decision comes to whether or not we are going to make the most of it, whether or not we are going to use that situation for good. We're going to make commitments. We're going to move forward in the right direction. And that's what you can do today with financial sovereignty. I want you guys to become financially sovereign, because I do believe that by being sovereign and in control over your finances, not in a dictatorial, not in a tyrannical way, but in a self-sacrificing, selfless, loving way, you can use those finances for good. I believe that you can be generous. I believe that you can be a wise steward. I believe you can be a good investor. I believe that you can be a good and a profitable member of society, a member of God's kingdom. Every single one of you has salvation at your fingertips, so long as you'd accept the Lord. And whether or not you're a Christian, whether or not you think, oh, Jeb, you're crazy, then listen to the principles I'm telling you, because they are very, very true, whether you believe in where they're coming from or not. I'm just repeating what the Bible talks about. But what the point is that it's been proven throughout history that those that strive to get out of debt, that strive to have control over their finances, rather than living in this rat race mentality of, oh, I'm just going to slave away for 100 hours a week and live as a slave just to make sure I can make the rent on this fancy condo that's $15,000 a month, or just so I can make the payment on the Bentley that I drive just to impress other people. Don't live as a slave to what other people think of you. Don't live as a servant and in bondage to your finances. Don't live as a servant and in bondage to debt. Don't live as a servant and in bondage to a messy and just very disorderly home. Don't live in bondage to poor eating habits, poor dietary habits, poor exercise habits. Don't live in bondage to a marriage that is failing because you were not acting right. Don't live in bondage to those things, guys. I've lived in bondage to all of those things, all of the above, and I don't want that for you. And that's why we are trying to strive to create this sovereign life in our life by surrendering everything to the Lord Jesus Christ and by following Him. And I would love for you to do the same. Even if you're not interested in the gospel message, that's totally okay. No pressure there. But what I will say, as far as I would love for you to, but I understand I'm not going to push anything on you. But what I will say is that I hope you're also interested in the financial sovereignty message, because that message is directly pulled from the Bible and proven day after day after day after day in business. You don't believe that debt is a good thing? I can prove to you that debt is not a good thing, because as far as it can be used as a good thing, but I can prove to you that debt can be a very difficult thing when you look at companies that are indebted to the government and they live bailout to bailout. When there are people that have 3 mortgages out on their home and they live stressful day to stressful day. When people have $57,000 in credit card debt because they couldn't stop buying Louis Vuitton, and so they are living in stressful situations because of that. Financial peace, financial sovereignty, whatever it is you want to call it, financial freedom, all of these words have been used to describe what I'm talking about to some degree or other. They all kind of hit on slightly different things. But my dream for you is to not live in bondage, period. That full stop. That's my dream. I would love and I would desire for you not to live in bondage to sin, to finances, to poor, to mismanaged money, to disorderly homes, to bodies that are not functioning the way they should because we're not taking good care of ourselves. And I just pray and it's my desire to help you guys not live in bondage to those things. All right, let's go ahead and read some chat. I really appreciate all of you for tuning in. We've got over 400 people watching just a minute ago. We're at 380 right now. Thank you guys so very much. Really appreciate all you guys tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that post notification button. And don't forget to sign up for Lux Algo. You can use coupon code JEB, JEBB30 for 30% off at checkout with a link in the description box down below. If you sign up for the monthly plan, you'll save $20.40. If you sign up for the annual plan using our coupon code, you will save over $300, I believe it is. I think it's $318 you will save for the annual plan by using our coupon code. And just by using the annual plan and our coupon code together, you'll save 70% on Lux Algo, bring it down from $68 a month to $20 a month if you average it out over the 12 months. About $28 a month, actually, I think is what it is. So you'll save $40 a month if you do the annual plan and our coupon code. So definitely make sure to see yourself over to luxalgo.com and use the coupon code JEB, JEBB30. Jake from State Farm said I could have a magical hot tub. I wonder if Jake from State Farm will make you put one of those little things on it that tracks how your driving is to see if you can save money. I'm making a joke because those things are, I'm submissive to rulers and authorities whenever I can be. So I obey the speed limit unless somebody needs to go to the hospital. So I don't personally really mind those things that much, but just wonder, would they put a little driving monitor on your hot tub? All right. Ruben said, amen, Jeb. Thank you. What do you think is a good altcoin that is not attacked by the SEC? I am very wary of altcoins in general right now because you don't really know what's going to happen and where they're going to come from. And I can tell you that I speak for the majority of Wall Street when I say that. I am not on Wall Street. I am not a Wall Street trader. I'm not a stockbroker. I don't even really trade a lot of stocks, although I do want to get more into the stock market. But what I will say is the vast majority of Americans are looking at crypto like this and saying, all right, well, Bitcoin seems fine. But oh man, those altcoins, and they lump them all together because we as humans are very good at categorizing things, saying it's an altcoin is bad, it's a Bitcoin is good. I'm not saying that, but the majority of America after this is saying that. Sparky69 said, somebody spread the jeb. Always try to watch the channel. Top guy even made a little extra tracking his advice. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that, Sparky. Look, guys, here's the deal. I have a vision for what we want to do with this company, and with this channel, and with just everything we're doing that is so much bigger than what I'm really able to muster right now. But I just want you guys to know I have so many plans for the next several years. I have so many dreams for what I believe the Lord has put on my heart to share with you guys and to build for you guys. And so I'm doing my very best to get my life in order and make sure that we're putting our company in order as best I possibly can to ensure that we're in a position to share that with you. And so I just really appreciate your grace. I really appreciate your patience. And I'm very thankful every single day for you guys. And I'm very thankful for the Lord who put me in this position. Thank you guys so much. Classic Gamers HQ said ETH is good. Ethereum is good. Ethereum would be my top altcoin recommendation right now. And in fact, it is the only altcoin that I'm in right now. Rufus Adejumo said 400 people watching and 65 likes. Please don't forget to press the like button. Thank you so much, Rufus. Guys, I am going to have to wrap it out. We will be back to our regularly scheduled time tomorrow. I do apologize for being late, guys. I am going to have to go. But before I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching and being patient, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.